Merry Christmas and welcome back to Just Joshing with Jakota. I'm Josh, this is Jakota, and today we are continuing the conversation left off from last week where we decided that we would try to come up with some examples and stories perhaps of doing things to lead to other things, sort of.
Right, so I thought of zero.
Thought of zero? Okay, then I'll go first.
You go first, my friend.
Okay, so we both are artists, and we are both trying to make art our full-time career,
Right.
which is not easy.
No, it's not really.
It's actually probably, it's not physically hard.
You know what? Now that you say that, anything worth doing isn't easy.
That is correct.
Right? If it was easy, everyone would do it. And you wouldn't have...
Less people would give up.
Right.
A lot of my friends who wanted to get to be artists, they didn't have the same kind of drive that I do and that you have.
Right.
Because they don't see immediate sales or whatever.
Right. It's that people don't realize that this blows my mind. People think that just because somebody's good at something that they were born with that talent and like they didn't have to work. They didn't have to do anything, right? Like soccer players or whatever. Oh man, he's so good. And
That's
they have
hours and hours and hours of practice.
But not just that's like with anything though, right? Like people that are super skilled at doing just about anything has the drive to do that.
Right, and they're really good at soccer.
Right, exactly.
So you're probably really good at soccer because you take good photos. Right? I'm good at soccer because I think I make nice pictures.
Right.
But anyways, my whole point is, I'm getting into my example.
Right.
I don't know how to word that in English properly. English is my second language. First language would be stammering and being tongue-tied. So I've thought of a couple things. When I first started doing art, I had no idea how to get out there. But I knew that I wanted to eventually be in some high-end art galleries. I'm only in
because
one.
you're a painter, right?
Right, yeah. Doing finger painting is kind of different, so I thought that would help. Although I got into finger painting only because I hated washing brushes, and brushes got expensive because I never washed them, so they became one-time use tools, and it just basically didn't work. So what I ended up doing is thinking, okay, if I just go into certain stores, certain galleries, and just get to know these people,
Right.
then they'll get to know me, and then maybe they'll give me a chance. So one example would be going into this certain art gallery for over 2 years, and just looking at all the artists on the wall, all of them are famous.
Right.
I'm the only non-famous artist in that gallery.
That's actually pretty cool. That's that's an accomplishment.
And what did it is not me going in there submitting a portfolio and then hoping that they look through it. I created a relationship with some of the salespeople there, and then I eventually met the owner. And then I just was patient. I didn't want to keep pushing. In some circumstances you got to push, and in other ones you gotta be like, you gotta finesse it, because it could be that they just decide this kid's annoying. Screw off.
So
right?
you were probably doing things like outside the window, looking at them and just making yourself known, right? That's probably what you did.
Yeah, well, I would go in, look at the art, say hi.
Right, but when they were closed, you probably...
So that when they check the security camera, there's that kid again.
He really wants to be in here.
So there's an example of that working out in my favor.
So because you went out and about, what happened?
Well, I finally got into that gallery, and they offered it to me. I didn't even ask to be in it.
Well,
because they didn't know I was an artist at first, and then
they just thought you were some guy.
Just some guy who always came in and never bought anything.
Huh. So
and
you
then
didn't tell them that you were
I eventually told them, but they asked me, they're like, hey, what do you think of this piece? What do you think of that piece? And, I actually did eventually buy something. But then
So they must have thought that, yo, there's just some dude that comes in here and just
all the time, like every couple of weeks. Yeah, and I made friends with one of them, and I'm actually friends with him, and I'm friendly with some of the other salespeople. Mm-hmm. But the one guy, he eventually just asked me what I did for a living, and I was like, well, I do. At the time, I think I was taping, doing drywall full time, and then I basically got into telling him that on the side I do art. And he's like, oh, you're an artist? And he's like, let's see what you got. He probably thought it was going to suck.
Right.
And, I mean, to some people it does suck, right? Art is up to taste, so I was kind of nervous, but I was like, yes, finally.
Right.
And this is before I'm friends with him, but I'm friendly with him. Right. And then he goes and looks at my art on my phone, and he's like, holy shit, this is good. Which was flattering to me because he's selling multi-$1,000 paintings every day.
Right.
And then at the time, I'm only selling maximum up to like $700, $800. I think my most expensive one I had sold at the time was $1,300, which was like insane to me.
That's very impressive.
Right? And then he goes, these are good. How come you're not in this gallery? And he was kind of joking, but I was like...
Well, that was one of your goals though, right?
It was one of my goals, but he didn't know that. And then he goes into, I don't know, kind of behind the scenes details into getting me in there. Because it's kind of like I'm not famous. So I'm not a big money maker. Or I'm a risk. So they're like, what the heck? He's like, what the heck can I do to persuade the owners to give this kid a chance? So I didn't push nothing. But the whole point is that I decided not to be coy about what I wanted, even though I was being patient about it. But I took the steps to kind of get in there in a way that's somewhat unconventional for getting into galleries. But every other gallery, except for my first one, I applied to be in, I believe. I think so. The first gallery, it's because I went to Art Walk, and they saw me there. And then they were like, do you want to be in our gallery? And I was like, hell yeah. Actually, 6 galleries approached me on my first art walk and asked me to be a part of it.
That's
and
awesome, dude.
I'm an idiot. I was like, well, I didn't like that one, and I didn't like that one, I didn't like that one, and I didn't like that one, and I didn't like that one. I picked the one I liked the best. I should have said yes to all of them.
Should have.
But in hindsight, vision is 20/20. I should have been like, hell yeah.
Got yourself
6 galleries.
More places, more
right, exactly. And now it's too late. I don't even know what those galleries are doing now, but who knows? Ever since then, I've been saying yes to almost every gallery. And one gallery even stole 2 of my paintings. And what they did is they they told me, hey, your art isn't selling. You need to come pick it up. And I can't remember how many pieces I brought there, like 8 or 9. I go and pick them up. They had them packed up for me. So I just took them and left. And then I realized about a month later or so, wait a minute, I'm missing this piece and this piece. What the heck? This doesn't make any sense. Where is it? And what actually happened is the gallery actually was going under. It wasn't that my art wasn't selling. It was that they couldn't sell art. But they made it seem like it was my fault. My art wasn't selling because it wasn't good enough for their clientele.
That's greasy.
Yeah. So when I went back to get my pieces, I thought it was just an honest mistake. Closed down.
No way.
And I was like,
you
what?
went there and it was closed?
Yeah. No, yes. Then I thought maybe they moved.
So then you were outside the window like...
So I called them. No answer. I thought maybe they just moved.
That's not even... I'm not even surprised that they didn't answer. They were probably like, oh no, it's that guy that we ripped off.
So then the person who got me into that gallery, she was a interior designer. That's how I got into that gallery. And she rented like an office space out of there because she was an interior designer, kind of fit the space. She designed the gallery and everything. And then I called her because she's actually the designer who our friend in Victoria works with.
Oh, no way.
And then, yeah, so that went sideways. So that's an example of things not going well, but putting myself out there leads to things.
Did I ever come with you to this gallery? Was it with those older people?
No, these were
Oh, okay.
younger people, and that's probably their inexperience probably is what made the gallery go under, unfortunately. But my example is just being open enough and not conservative with my methods of trying to. I mean, both of those kind of just happened because I was patient, but like another example would be of me doing something on purpose to get a benefit out of is I just went into that shoe store that's here in town, and I was like, this is a dope store. I actually like it. My goal isn't to have my art in shoe stores, but I wanted to have more places to display my art to lead to other things.
Right.
So hopefully in time that will lead to something else. But having my art there, it's kind of, I have my basketball pieces there because it fits the atmosphere of the store.
I've seen those there, yes.
It looks cool.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
So I'm not very picky when it comes to locations, but I'm somewhat picky when it comes to aesthetic in the store. So if it looks crappy, I don't want my stuff in there.
Right.
Because I don't want to devalue my art. So my example thought of over the week was meeting people and trying to form a relationship with them to benefit me in the future, and hopefully it also benefits them.
Right. Right. Okay, that makes sense. No, I get it.
So with my story being told, can you think of anything that you've done?
I think
what goes around comes around, sort of thing, or
it's not even a long story like yours, so it's probably not even that great. But there was, I have kind of I guess. So let me just say it. So, we used to work at the same restaurant at one point.
Fast food chain. You know what's funny is we worked at the big fast food chain at different times in different countries. We worked for the big yellow M. That was one of my first jobs.
Yeah.
Then I moved to this other cowboy hat place, and then you worked at the ice cream place when we were kids.
Right. So we, so I liked. You had a camera. You had that. Remember, you had that black point and shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, I really liked taking pictures of that. Remember, I went on that BC trip and I took like
hundreds,
and
we made a big collage on the bedroom wall.
I took so many pictures. Like I even just took pictures of dumb stuff. Like that I was because you told me take as many pictures as I could.
Yeah.
Okay, and I did. I took pictures of everything. So I really liked taking pictures. So at this point in my life, I was probably like 15 or 16 when we worked at the same restaurant together, right? And then we also had that same friend, Dieter, that was very heavily into photography. So, because of... Actually, it wasn't even... I guess it was... Because I decided to be his friend, and it wasn't my choice to actually work at the restaurant, so I can't take credit for that because Mom was like, you got to work at the same... Yeah. We had to have the same schedule, right?
Right.
So, okay.
Because this was before I could drive.
Right. And before I wasn't even thinking about driving at this point.
Right.
I didn't get my license till I was like 20. We work at the same restaurant. Got to know the same people, obviously. But this one person in particular who was super, super into photography. And I loved taking pictures, but I didn't realize
the artistic
part
of it.
I wasn't there yet. I didn't like I had seen like this is back when like Tumblr was like a huge deal, right?
Oh yeah.
Tumblr and the Twitter was rising up in the ranks and stuff. But it was Tumblr that was crazy, right? And he would go on Tumblr and I would see all these awesome pictures, and then he himself would also take awesome pictures, right? I was actually amazed at how I was like, holy crap. Okay. Well, I was 15. I must have been 15. I was 15, and so we're hanging out with him. We ended up hanging out with him out of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, his influence was heavily... I was heavily affected by his influence. I actually got better because of this because of him, right? Like I picked up tips and I learned how to use Photoshop. It was actually him that introduced me to Photoshop, right? And it was like, if I hadn't met him, I probably never would have even bought my first DSLR, or I never would have even thought to use Photoshop to make anything better. Like I didn't even know what anything was. I just took pictures of stupid things, and then because of him, I ended up having ideas of like weird concepts and like things that couldn't actually happen in real life. And because of Photoshop, and because of his editing skills and him showing me how to do it, like I became better at it. And if I never would have, who knows where
you wouldn't have become an artist. You would have just stayed.
I think
someone who just takes pictures whenever.
Right, exactly.
No
because
reason.
I like pictures since I was like since we got our first cameras. Remember at Sears?
I do remember.
We got those little film.
Yeah.
Whatever. We had a film.
Yeah. So these cameras were these silver boxes, and we got them for free if our mom bought some like knife set.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. So she bought this set of knives, and then you get one free camera. But since there was two of us, and we both really wanted a camera, the lady gave us two.
Right.
And then we needed film.
Right.
So then we got some film.
Yeah.
And then
we never. I think we only got film once.
One time, yeah.
That was it. So it was like you had to be careful.
Like what you wanted to take a
picture. It had to be perfect moment. And so like I think I always wanted to take pictures. Like I always loved it. So but no, it was because I decided to, I didn't have to hang out with this person, right? I could have just did my job. And then
because a lot of people, they don't make friends at work. They have work friends and they have real friends.
Right.
And I'm not that type of person either to just have, like, if you're at work, I'll hang out with you out at work if I like you. Why can't I only be your friend at work? People think it's weird to become friends with your work friends.
I don't think it's weird at all.
I don't think it's weird at all either.
You're going to see them every day anyways, right? It's like, why not? I mean, if they're good people, regardless if you work with them or...
Yeah, who cares if you see them in a building and get paid at?
It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, me neither.
But I mean, it is what it is.
So you're saying, like, your willingness to kind of become friends with someone led to you doing what your job is now.
It directly affected. It absolutely... If I didn't water that relationship and, continue... If he didn't have the passion, I probably wouldn't have... because it's not a stretch to say that his passion rubbed off on me.
Right, because he is a good photographer.
Great photographer, like great. I'm not even joking. Like there were some times where like you'd be, oh yeah, just uploading this new photo or whatever, because like there was websites that we like before Facebook and before Facebook was a thing.
Definitely before Instagram.
Like, yeah, exactly. Before Instagram. It was like, there was like Tumblr, right? Like, so he always had, the website like Tumblr, and then there was like that...
Photo Bucket,
and then there was like Nexopia and stuff, right?
Oh, Nexopia.
Where like you had a profile picture and like he just had, I think it started out with having dope profile pictures. Right? And I was like, hell yeah, I totally want to do that. I want to have pictures that no one has or needs to pay somebody else to get, right? I wanted that. Like, I think I wanted to... I was so obsessed with taking pictures of myself, like back when I was a kid. Like that was... I don't do it so much anymore because people call it conceited, which kind of sucks because I have dope ideas.
You're the best model. You know what you want your picture to look like.
Oh, exactly. But it sucks because people actually would be like talk down on me about it.
Oh, look how vain you are.
Right? No, exactly. It actually hurt. How many pictures do you see me posting of myself anymore?
Barely any.
Yeah. Like it actually, like it cut me deep. Like when they told me, like, I was like, no, really? Is that why I'm coming off like I was just so excited to post another picture, and Facebook blew up, and like having a dope profile picture is, I mean, I still think it's awesome to have a dope profile picture, right?
You actually taking good photos actually made me, so for my Instagram, people always ask me if you take the pictures. because they're pretty nice.
Oh, nice.
They're not.
That's cool.
They're not. I'm not doing anything except
Right.
for taking the picture, but I'm purposely taking them in a way that looks nice visually, and that's to sell myself.
Right.
I want people to be like, oh, what is this? Click on it. Oh, he's making an elephant out of OSB or whatever, right? And I want that picture to be like somewhat artistic, so that people are kind of drawn into like clicking on my profile and then hitting follow.
Right, exactly, and that's good. I mean, like that's awesome.
So that's your example. You got my example in there. It being Christmas Day today. Merry Christmas. What did you get? You got this video, that's for sure. I thought we could tell a couple Christmas stories from maybe our past, if we can think of any. I mean, I thought of a couple. Believing in Santa is what like a majority of kids believe in.
Yeah.
Even though he's so not real.
So not real. There's so many. You know what's crazy? Like it's so funny how like I believed in Santa for like I think longer than I'd like to admit, and it's so stupid because like you go Christmas shopping with your parents, right? You're like, I want this and this. Well, that's how we did it. We should be like, all right, go point out some things that you like. It didn't clue in where it was like, okay, wait a minute. What doesn't Santa make the toys? Why do we have to go to the store to pick them out? That doesn't even make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense because that would be like saying, all right, I make this cup. Let's go to the store and pick out the one you want. Right. This is like,
yeah.
Right. And then
doesn't make any sense.
Be like, and then you watch me buy it. Not that we saw her buy the stuff.
Right.
But
No, we never did.
You watch me buy this, and then I bring it home, and I'm like, okay, just wait. I'm just gonna make your cup now. And then I come out with the freaking cup that you just picked out. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. I mean, we fell for it.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a couple key things that made me stop believing in Santa, and I don't remember how old I was, but I remember when I was just like, wait a minute, how come this Santa is Asian?
Oh, because of the mall Santas.
Yeah. Do you remember when we would see Santa and he'd just be a dude with sometimes he'd have a real beard, sometimes he'd have a fake beard?
We always went to the mall, didn't we?
Yeah, Westminster Mall.
Westminster Mall. We went to the same mall. Yeah.
Every time. But then I remember, like, there's more than one Santa working. You know, that's working long shifts if you're going to be there all day. And I remember about the fake beard. And I remember hearing jokes about pulling off Santa's beard. And I was actually tempted to do that.
No, I remember this. I think you told me multiple times that you were going to do it.
Yeah.
There were times when I was sitting on the lap and I was like, oh no.
You think I'm going to pull it?
I thought you were, but it never happened.
Well, because one time it was a real beard. And I could see that was real because I could see it growing out of his face and there was different colors. It wasn't just bleach white.
Right.
So I was like, okay, next year we'll see. And then there was an Asian Santa. And I was like, what? Like he had a tan face. He had like Asian eyes, black eyebrows that were painted white with face paint. And I was like, what?
Wait a second.
This doesn't make sense. Also, he had those fake boots where the boots go over the shoe.
Yeah.
And I was like,
something's fishy.
All right, this must be one of the Santa's helpers then. I was trying to justify it in my mind. Then, so that was clue number one. Then, I remember Santa used to leave us notes on Christmas Day.
Right.
And it was written in red pen.
I do remember this.
And I remember seeing the red pen in the jar of pens by the phone for taking messages. And I was like, I grabbed that pen, I grabbed the note, and I made a line to see if it was the same color red. Exact.
Well,
I remember it was like a felt.
Would
almost.
Santa carry around a pen?
Why not? He's got a magic hat. You can put whatever you want in it.
Okay, you got me there.
Right? And he has a magic bag. How does he fit all his presents in a little sleigh?
Right.
But then, do you remember this? So we could stay up late on Christmas Eve, and I'm pretty sure that was a tactic to get us to sleep as long as we could
Probably.
in the morning so that we wouldn't wake up the whole house so early at like 5 a.m.
Right.
Do you remember we go to bed, and we shared the same bedroom, and I was on the bed closest to the door, and you were on the bed further away. And I remember hearing like clop, 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 clop.
Mm-hmm.
Like just noises on the roof. And
Wait,
this
was at
this was at the house in Edmonton there.
Oh, okay. Not the townhouse.
No, not that one.
Okay.
So yeah, we lived in a couple houses when we were growing up.
Right. Okay.
This house in particular was a what would you call that? Like not a split, but it had a small living room roof, but then above the basement and upstairs it was way taller.
Right.
It was like 2 stories plus another main level. Uh-huh. Most of the main level was detached from that, and then the basement went under the whole house.
Right.
That's not super important. But the thing is that it was really tall. We didn't have a chimney though, so I was wondering about what is on the roof right now.
Yes. Yeah.
So I get up and I look down through the door from our bedroom into the hallway, which looked down the steps into the living room. And I'm like, okay. I'm listening. And then I hear something a little different, but I can hear them still awake downstairs. So I'm like, oh no. People are still awake. He's not going to drop us the presents.
He sees when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Right. So I'm like, what the heck? I go downstairs and I'm like, so our older brothers lived with us and then our mom. So they're in the kitchen. My mom is making, or our mom is making turkey dinner for the next day. So she has it cooking overnight. And I'm like, there's some noises on the roof. And they, of course, I don't know to this day, because I've asked them several times, if they threw something on the roof or did something to make noises. Right. But they were like, no, there's no noises, go to bed. And the way that she was frustrated made me go, oh, okay. Well, I don't, maybe there wasn't. Maybe I'm just hearing things. But I'm pretty sure you heard it too. Do you remember this at all?
I think I heard, I don't remember, I remember hearing it at one point, but I don't remember you investigating or anything.
Dude, I remember investigating like
it might have been a different year, because there was one time where I myself heard, but I opened my eyes and then I remembered. I think I felt the same way about like how he knows when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake.
Gotta pretend I'm
right,
sleeping.
exactly, right. So like I just ignored what I heard. And then I just went back to
Did you ever like go and wait in the living room for Santa to come after everyone was sleeping?
I can't say that I have. Maybe I did. Maybe I did sneak down. I don't know. Hide behind the couch or something. Maybe.
I remember sneaking down one time, and the living room light, I flicked it on and off real quick to see if there was any presents. But I remember when I went to look down, I saw the light still on downstairs. So I was like, oh, okay. Went back to bed. A little bit later, I don't know how long, I was probably sleeping a while, but I get up again. There's no light. So then I go down the creaky stairs. Well, they weren't super creaky, but they made noise.
They were pretty damn squeaky.
And our mom's bedroom was right across from ours, right? So
right. Yeah.
I was like, I had to be super quiet because she slept with her door open.
Right.
And I'm going downstairs, and then I click on the light real quick, and I turn it off to see if there's presents under the tree, because the lights aren't on the tree. And then I click it on,
really?
click it off.
That's weird.
Because they always turn them off at night, I believe. Like after when you're gonna go to bed, turn off the lights. I mean, back then too, like those light bulbs got hot. Nowadays we got LEDs; they don't get hot. But anyways, click them on, click them off. No presents. So I'm like, all right. I'm going to wait here on this couch. So I'm chilling on the couch, waiting and waiting and waiting. It probably wasn't that long, but I was a little kid and I was getting impatient, and it was just dark and nothing. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll go back upstairs. And so when I decided to go back upstairs, I was like, I will come back down in a few minutes. I'm just going to get warmed up. Because I'm cold in the downstairs living room.
Right, wait, how old were you?
Young. 8.
So this was in
7.
This was in the
same house.
Same house. Oh, okay.
I go back upstairs. I go back into bed. 5 minutes later. Probably in real life it was hours later, but in my head, you know, like when it feels like haven't slept at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And you wake up and you're like, oh, it's only been like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I get back out of bed. I go back downstairs because I'm warm now. I'm fine. Click on the light. Click, click. Wait a minute. Click, click. The presents are here. Click, click. Oh my God, I just missed Santa. He was just here. I went upstairs and I didn't hear him. What the heck? He was just here. Wow. I was upstairs for 5 minutes.
Huh.
I was so bummed. But I was also excited because I see all these gifts. Right. In reality, what probably happened is probably our brothers, who probably had all the gifts in their bedroom downstairs. It was a big-ass bedroom.
Right.
It was like the size of my whole basement here.
Right.
And I think what happened, thinking back now logically, they probably were like, yo, I heard Josh or whoever.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to wait till he goes back upstairs. I go back upstairs. I probably was back in bed for like an hour. You know, because I
fell asleep.
I fell asleep and then I woke up, but I didn't realize I fell asleep. So when they heard me go back upstairs, they probably checked and everything. Then they grabbed all the presents and they put them around the tree. Mm-hmm. And we were pretty spoiled at Christmas, even though we weren't rich at all.
Right.
I mean, you would think we were by the amount of presents we got. I was so stoked and so bummed because Santa was just there. And I just missed him.
What would you have even done if you've seen him?
Freaked out. I don't know.
Like you would have woken up.
I mean, I saw him at the mall and he was friendly.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, okay.
Hey, you want to hang out?
And I mean, I seen him in movies and kids see him. I was like, I'll just do that.
Tim Allen, right?
So then, I mean, I remember, Santa Claus. I remember just waiting for it time to wake up.
Huh.
I even looked at the cookies, and the cookies were gone.
Okay, I remember when the cookies were gone, that tripped me out. Because I didn't think that for a second that anyone in the family would trick us.
Right? Why would they?
I didn't think that was a thing. Like, you're gonna...
Do you remember the time when we thought... Because our mom, she made homemade cookies, and I remember them being in the freezer all the time. You had to take them out of the freezer and put them out and then eat them when they thawed. I remember being like, all right, you gotta take the cookies out of the freezer because he's not going to want to eat frozen cookies. What I thought happened, because the next morning, Christmas Day, there's no crumbs in the plate. I thought they put out the cookies. When we went to bed, they packed that back up, put it in the freezer, and we're like, screw Santa. I was like,
what?
There's no crumbs on the plate. And I remember the next year it was exaggerated amount of crumbs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because, like, there was,
Did you say something about the crumbs?
Yeah. I asked if Santa came. And I think... Now, I could be just making a memory or something. Because, you know, memory is kind of messed up.
Right.
I think it was Mike or Dave, two of our older brothers. I believe it was one of them saying he licked the plate. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. They are good cookies, so that makes sense.
Get every crumb.
And I also remember being like, okay, don't take the milk out too soon because it'll get warm and he might want cold milk.
Well, it's a cold night out. I don't think he would want cold milk.
Well, I didn't know. Dude, he's a grown man.
He's a grown man.
He's 1,000 years old. He might want cold milk.
I can't believe that. Like, I don't know. Do you think that it's good to teach kids about Santa?
I don't see any harm in it. It's just like teaching kids that if you're going to lie, your nose is going to grow. It's not true. Is it lying? Yeah, it's totally lying.
It's deceiving as
but like
the most.
I mean, I'm glad I believed in Santa. It was.
Yeah, I think I did too. It was more fun. I definitely remember having great Christmas memories.
Dude, yeah, I was so stoked. I remember. Okay, do you remember this? One time when we snuck down together, and you stacked your presents all together.
Did I?
Yes, because our mom doesn't know. Our brothers don't know. Santa brought them.
Right.
They don't know where the presents were put under the tree. You stacked your shit all in one pile, basically.
I don't remember this.
Dude. And then in the morning, they're like, I think this was like Mike or Ken or someone. I believe one of them saying something to the effect. Of course, I could be making this memory up too, but for some reason, it's pretty vivid. I remember one of them saying like, "Why are all your gifts in one spot?" And you're like, "I don't know. Santa must have put them there," or something like that. Something like that.
What? I don't remember this.
I think this was on the same year that while we were playing with our gifts later on in the day downstairs in the basement, they said, "Hey, come back upstairs." And we're like, "What?" Santa was just here. We raced up the stairs.
Oh, I remember that because there was we had like 3 more gifts.
Yeah.
4 more gifts.
That they forgot to put under the tree.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
What? That's so weird. Holy crap. For the longest time until actually right now, I thought that they went out and bought more gifts.
On Christmas Day?
Yes! What?
No, they must have just found them somewhere.
They totally probably didn't wrap them. They probably forgot to wrap them or something.
Yeah. And we tried to go. They're like, hurry, 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 hurry. And we ran up the stairs. They're like, look, look, look. And they had the front door open. And we go to run out. And they're like, he's gone. And we're like, he was just here. He brought these.
That's when I got that. I remember that because I got that Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, you did.
Plane thing or whatever it was.
Yeah, and I got a semi-truck, or semi if you're American, semi-truck with 2 cars on it in a box. And then there was a couple other things, but I don't remember what they were.
I remember that. Those cars were awesome. Was that the one where you go, rain, rain, rain?
No, not those ones.
And then it would like...
No.
Not the Margaret and Ralph. Those cars.
So we used to play this game called Margaret and Ralph, which was 2 people that actually existed who had a mechanic shop in in a town neighboring our city, where the driveway was, to us, it was very steep. So what we would do is we had a big area rug in our basement that was on the concrete, and we would take a big Mega Block Lego looking brick, stick it underneath the rug so it would have that steep driveway, and then we would drive the cars up there, because Margaret and Ralph had a mechanic shop that was called MAR, and we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have all the cars go to there to get repaired and stuff.
That was fun, man.
That's actually where I don't know if we told this story before, but
we did.
Oh yeah, sticking your fingers in mouse traps and stuff.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah. Okay. Same place.
We definitely told it somewhere. Where did we tell it? I don't know. I know that we talked about it.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah.
But Christmas time, I think, is still my favorite holiday. It's a little different now that we're growing up.
It's different. It's completely different, man. I remember when I lost the. When you're like.
You lost the
spark,
the glee,
the glee, just the excitement to be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember when I think I was like 16, where it was just like, that was it. 17, I think, was the last. I think when I got my drum set and Guitar Hero, that was the best Christmas in my teenage years. And that was the last Christmas that did it for me, I think.
Yeah, and you still have that drum set.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're going to set it up in the studio where this studio will eventually move to. But, yeah, I remember when you got that. I was so happy for you.
You got your guitar
I got a guitar, yeah, which I didn't care about anymore. I didn't want to play anymore. And I still have that guitar. And, I tried to learn, but
it would have been sick if we started a band.
Yeah, I just didn't care anymore.
Huh.
When I wanted a guitar for years before that, I had one of my best friends. He got into guitar, and I would go to his house almost every day, and I would try to learn things, right? But the way I learned is I can't read music, and even if I could, I have to watch the person do it, because all
really?
On the whatever the frets,
right?
I didn't know how to play all the chords. Right? I only know a couple, and I don't even know what they're called. Right? So I'm like, okay. So I learned how to play a little bit of Nirvana and a little bit of Blink-182
Really?
something. Yeah, something like that. That was, I don't even remember it at all. I still remember some of the Nirvana, but I don't remember any of the Blink-182.
Huh.
And I only knew it because I was being taught it, like, being led by the hand. Like, I was useless. That guy who had that, he's also the one who got me into doing magic. Because, remember he would do, this was Scott. Remember Scott?
I do.
He would just do magic on the bus, and we'd be like,
right.
Yo, how the heck did you just do that?
I totally forgot that he did that.
Remember he would, like, have coins, and he'd be like, grab a coin out of the air, and then he would, like, flip cards out of nowhere, and then he'd be like, his pen would disappear, and then, like, something else would appear. Like,
that guy was so cool.
Yeah, I was like, bro, how did you just do that? It blew my mind. Now thinking back, I can't believe I couldn't figure it out. I mean, the point is not to be able to figure it out, but since I became a magician a little bit later on, like, a lot of tricks, I remember I actually had, like, a whole circle of online friends who would be asking me, yo, how does this trick work?
Yo, show me that magic trick, bro.
Man, I got made fun of hardcore for doing that, but, like...
Yeah! You're a magician.
But I wanted to do it. I liked going... Like, I was...
You got made fun of? That's so weird.
But I didn't care. Like, people would come to our work and be like, yo,
I remember that.
Bend this key.
People would mistake me for you. Like, that's my brother, man. I don't know any of that. I'm sorry. Dude, you're sick. You can do that. No, that's not me. Oh, well, whatever, bro.
They thought maybe you just didn't want to show them?
I don't know.
Keep it a secret?
I mean, like, it's cool that they came to see you. I think that's pretty impressive. Like, you obviously had something going if random people were like, you're that magician, bro. Dude,
because I've never wanted to have a real job. I wanted to be a professional magician. But I wanted to be like a street magician. And I wanted it to be... I purposely didn't get very good at my showmanship because I wanted it to seem more real. Because when you see a magician, it's super polished. The way they do their sleight of hand and stuff, it just looks like they're doing sleight of hand. I wanted to be not very good at card mechanics and stuff. I wanted to just be okay at it. I wanted to be able to shuffle, fan the cards, do whatever. But in practice, like, I could do all these different cuts and, like, you know, forces and stuff. Like, where it just didn't look very polished, so you weren't looking for, like, that invisible pass, you would call it. Right? You wouldn't know what I was doing because I wasn't very good at talking to you. I was just like a guy who seemed nervous, which was by design. So I'd be like, okay, so pick a card and then give it to him to look at, but don't look at it, whatever the trick was, right? And then it would just seem like I didn't really know what to do. And then when it worked, which I knew it was going to work, at least most of the time, it would just be, the payoff was huge because people would be like, okay, I thought he was going to do something else because he seems like a complete idiot or whatever. And I remember I also did a challenge where I would do magic tricks that you learn in kids' magic trick sets that you get from the toy store.
Right, the ones that get the ladies.
Right.
Right, the lady killer tricks.
Right, so I would get those tricks and make them into something that would fool adults. So I remember I'd go to, like, the mall or I'd go to wherever and I'd be like, hey,
pick a card.
Pick a card. Yeah, exactly. It'd be a pick a card trick.
And this one's got my number on it.
And then, not that one. Right? But doing those tricks and then turning them into something that was amazing was one of the things I liked doing because I wanted people to be like, oh, I know this trick, and think they know what I'm going to do. And then they're like, but he didn't. Wait, I don't know this trick. Holy shit, how did you do that? And I also like taking good magic tricks that had, like, let's say you needed, spoiler alert, magic isn't real, but let's say you needed 2 of the same card in the deck. I would try to find a way that I could do it with just one card, just in case I ripped the cards out of my hand, looked at it, and there was no doubles because I didn't use a double. Right? I wanted to get good at that kind of stuff, so I'd have to think of ways around it, which would make the trick a little bit longer, but in the banter, you can get around it, and then in me sounding unprofessional, I think it kind of worked.
Imagine where you'd be if you didn't give up magic. Like, you'd be wearing top hats and stuff.
Man,
probably wouldn't have a wife right now.
Man, yeah, that was. What else did you want to be besides a photographer?
That's funny. A fireman.
I wanted to be a fireman.
Believe it or not, I wanted to fight fires, which is, super dangerous. But like I felt like my calling was to help people.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to be a police officer too at one point. But that was when I was like super young. I wanted to be Batman at one point too.
Dude, I remember when we were little and we would take garbage bags and like cut them open so they'd be long, like black garbage bags, tie that around.
I remember that.
And then we would like ride our bikes and try to make it flat, but it wouldn't because it'd be all staticky stuck to our backs.
That's so funny.
Right? Like I loved doing that. I loved like tying that around my my neck and just being like, all right.
Yeah.
Take our ninja swords, our plastic ninja swords, put that in there.
I do remember that.
I remember being like, yo, this is so dope.
We put cards in our spokes. Or like that plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic and it
sound like a motorbike or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
Not even close.
Like, what would it sound like?
I remember annoying the neighbors too.
We also had those freaking colorful clips that you put on, like pink and like whatever.
And they'd be like clink, 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 clink. Yeah, those were kind of stupid.
They were. I mean, I thought those were badass for some reason.
I didn't.
I
actually hated them because I remember one of our friends who was a girl had them on her bike, and I was like, I don't want a girl bike.
Oh, really? You were self-conscious about that?
Yeah, so I didn't want those. I liked the plastic because it was just like...
Right, no, yeah, that was...
And I'm like, yeah, I remember being like, riding my bike, which I won, by the way.
I remember that. Do you know how jealous I was? I was so jealous.
Dude, I was jealous of myself. And you know what's crazy? And maybe we can talk about this next week. But I knew I was going to get this bike. I just had a feeling.
Huh.
I knew I was going to get it. It was a school assembly.
Uh-huh.
I walk in.
I was there.
I see all the bikes on the stage. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going to get that bike today. I just knew it.
It's ridiculous.
And then I got it. I wasn't even surprised when they called my name. They were just like, and Josh. And I just get up and I walk up there and I'm like, yep.
Oh, I was pissed. I was so pissed. I wasn't pissed. I was very happy for you, but like I was like
a little jealous.
Well, what the you know what I mean?
Yeah. Why do you
There was all these bikes and I didn't get one. What the hell?
Yeah, so like I rode it home too. Like
I remember that.
I followed and I was like, this is back in the day when if you were I think I was in grade 3. So how old are you in grade 3?
I was in grade 2. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, grade 3. So, however old you are in grade 3, I rode it home on the freaking highway.
Yeah.
And
can't do that now.
Without a helmet.
Right.
I remember this kid on the overpass. He was like, come, because I'm going under the overpass. And he spits. And it just misses me.
He was trying to spit on you?
Yeah, I thought he wanted to see how fast I could ride the bike. So I'm like, all naive, just going as fast as I can. But I think next week, would it be cool if we talked about maybe some things that we like had a feeling about? We knew we were going, that was going to happen.
That was a good
So
idea.
my first example would be the bike. I just knew I was going to get that freaking bike. It was intense.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it. I could believe it. But thinking back now, I can't believe that I just wasn't surprised. How do you explain that? I could believe it, but I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
This is weird, right?
I don't know.
It's an odd, like, feeling, just knowing you're going to get something and then you get it. Right? Where you're just like, oh.
I'm going to have to think about that one. That's a good one, though. I like that. That's a great idea.
I like it.
I like it, too.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for checking us out. If you want to see what we're up to in the meantime, check out our personal social medias and YouTube channels. All that stuff will be in the description below if you want to keep up with what we're doing. Next week, you know what we're talking about. I'm actually kind of excited because I can think of a couple more.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Because Yeah, I got a couple more right now.
Cool.
I wish we were still. Yeah.
All right.
I got some.
We'll hold it so that we have something to talk about next week.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll continue the conversation next week.
Mm-hmm. Comment and subscribe, please. I guess we will see you next week.
Peace. That's the sign off, right?
I hope so. I don't even know.
That's different than last
This
time.
is different.
Oh, man. I forget.